Right, here we go then. So this footage, it's going to be unedited except for a few little cuts here and there just to make it sort of not last for 3 hours. And if you hear any voices on there, it's the camera picking it up. I'm not going to be editing it too much. I'm going to put some music to it. I'm going to leave gaps without music. I know some people don't like music. I've probably already mentioned this in the introduction. Um, this is the first one. If people like just seeing the footage of the rivers, then I'll do more. So please let me know in the comments. Whew, well, what a beautiful day. What a beautiful day for sticking a cucumber through somebody's letterbox and saying the Martians have landed. Who said that? Anyway, this is the only time you'll see me in this. Go on, I know. In this video, and in subsequent ones if people want me to carry on doing them. They do take a while to get all the footage and I have to check through it, make sure I'm not swearing or Christine's not shouting at me. But other than now, it'll be just river footage with music and some sections without music. I've had people say that they don't like music too much, that they just want to hear the sounds of the river, which is fair enough. Some people say they don't mind music. So I'll do a bit of both in that. Now, there will be long videos, probably an hour and a half, maybe, well, an hour to an hour and a half. So let me know in the comments, are you okay with them, or is it not worth me doing them? The other ones, which you will see, will have just the vlog where me, Christine, doing whatever we're doing. We'll go for a few walks, which I'll keep them separate. Now, don't forget, if you want one of these water level checking t-shirts, all you have to do is subscribe. And once I get to 1,000 subscribers, could be 5 months, could be 5 years. But once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll put a little video up and asking you to comment on that. So you have to be subscribed. So best do it now. And you will get one of these free official water level checking t-shirts. So let's crack on with the video. What a lovely day. Quick update. Since I came up with that idea of doing these just footage videos, I thought, well, if there's anything I can mention on the way down or up the river, then if it helps people, maybe newcomers to the Broads who are not sure what to expect, then I'll give it a try. So I'm going to try that now. I'll probably only be able to do one a week or even one every 2 weeks, depending on how long it takes me.
We'll continue to find our way through anything we face. We got what it takes. Here we go. All we need is an open road and a chance to see a never-ending world that's beautiful. Here we go with the sunlight on our skin. It's a brand new day. Begins. Every step, writing stories that seek to be read, taking hold of the moment as we discover every color filled with wonder. Now we finally see we got everything we need. Here we go. Begin. Here we go. Here we go. Heading out on our own with our hope in the clouds. We're starting to see that we're onto something. Feel it coming now. Here we go.
This particular video we don't actually go down to Ranworth. We usually do on our first day, but because we started early we're having a nice long cruise. Now Ranworth, you must have heard of Ranworth, it's very very popular. If you want to get in there you have to get there early. Sometimes what you'll find is people will go for lunch and then they'll leave. You'll see boats moored just loitering waiting for a space, and yeah, it's very popular. You've got the Maltsters pub, you've got the boardwalk up to the nature reserve, you've got St Helens Church when that's open, the tower, it's fantastic views from up there. That's down on the right off the Bure as we're coming from Arning, which in this particular video you won't actually see. Yes, it's well worth getting in at Ranworth if you can. There's also the island, which they have a charge of, it was £10. There's no facilities, you can't get to anywhere from it, and you can also mudweight in the Broad. It's a lovely place, Ranworth. And then, well, let's see where this leads us. And as you're cruising down the river, you may see some boats that are just randomly moored at the side of the river. Look as though they're tied to trees, or they've got anchors in the ground. They're called rond anchors. And don't try putting those in with your hand or even stamping on them unless the ground's very very soft. You usually come with a mallet and make sure that your ropes are nice and secure. Now, a few things you've got to watch out for while mooring is, well, the underwater obstructions. It might look that it's pretty deep as you're coming along at the side of the trees, but take it easy as you're going in, because the roots of the trees can be in the water at the side and you could damage the boat. You don't want that, do you? But there are some lovely places. You don't see too many on the Bure while moored, odd one or two here and there. There are a few lovely places on the Ant, you'll probably see those later on. Now in this video there isn't that many because after lockdown and the hire boats haven't quite got out yet, so you won't see too many. Maybe later on in some of the upcoming series you will see some moored up, and it is lovely to get out in the wild. You've got to be careful, don't be setting fires. There's been a few places where you see that people have just lit a bonfire. I really don't want to be doing that. Also, even with disposable barbecues, make sure you put them on stones or something or other, because it can damage the banking. And please, 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 take your rubbish home with you or put it back on the boat. We don't want to spoil this beautiful place, do we? set off till 9, didn't it?
It weren't 9, was it? Oh yeah, 19.
I'm up all night just to hear a story. When I'm with her, there's no hurry, holding on to every word she says. I'd do anything just to see her smile, sip rosé, watch Grace for a while, try some things I never thought I would. But that's just what you do when you're in love. When you're in love, forever never feels too long. Every melody sounds like a song. Your heart is so light, feels like you could fly above when you're in love. Diamond cost, but it's the greatest thing I bought. Your priceless heart was the easiest I do. So when we laugh or when we cry, know that I'll be by your side. Come with me, I'll always choose you. 'Cause that's just what you do when you're in love. You're in love, forever is just getting started, and you still haven't seen the best part yet. Who knows what's ahead, but we're hand in hand, that's enough when you're in love. When you're in favorite memories are starring you. You're more than I deserve, it's true. We're stronger now after all that we've been through. A life without you isn't lived. I wouldn't trade my greatest gift. No fairy tale could ever dream this up. Yeah, that's just what you get when you're in love. When you're in love, forever flies by like the wind, and you do it all over again. You're still my best friend. For these years I thank heaven above. We're still in love. So thank God when you're in love.
Another thing to watch out for, which, well, it's common sense really, but sometimes people miss the signs for the bridges, the height markers. If you find that you're approaching London Bridge and you have to ask the skipper of Silver Cloud, who's coming in the opposite direction, how much room is under the bridge, and he tells you 8 foot, and then you say you need 8'4", and he says you better duck then, well, you've missed the bridge marker. Now this happened actually. I have no idea whether they continued and went through. The people say the bridge markers are slightly out. Don't take my word for that. Anything that I say or that I write on in the description is subject to change. Let's put that disclaimer out there, because this is just my opinion. We're coming up to London Bridge now. Well, we're coming up the Ants and we're not far off London Bridge. Now on your right, just as you go around not this bend, the next bend, there's a bridge marker. Now you need to check that. You need to be aware really of where your bridges are, because they are, every year people miss them and they misjudge them. So yeah, just keep your eye open for the bridges.
Over the valley for the first time in a while. It feels like a new dawn is breaking, and I'm free to laugh like a child. Is this what it feels like to be right where you're meant to be? This is a new beginning. Yeah, this is just a start. For the best part. It's like the world resumed turning, like everything's gonna change, and we can stop all the yearning, just existing today. Is this what it feels like to be right on time? It's a new beginning. Yeah, this is just the start. We won't forget this feeling, but wait for the best part. Stars and planets align, and it can't last for forever, but I think the future looks bright. This is a new beginning, yeah. This is just the start. We won't forget this feeling, but wait for the best part. This is a new beginning. Yeah, this is just the start. We won't forget this feeling, but wait for the best part. It's
here. I'm not recording on that still, am I? Well, as we're coming up to Ludden Bridge, if you're into your fishing, there's a nice little spot just on the left here to fish from. Now, I've not actually done this myself, but a mate of mine, I see the banking here on your left now. Well, you can get your tackle off your boat and walk down to here and set up and have a fish. Now, there's some moorings here. Now, there is a charge, and obviously anything that I'm saying now might change in the future, but there is a charge. I'm not too sure what it is at the moment. It was £5, but you can moor up where all these posts are coming up on the left, get your fishing tackle off, walk back down the banking and fish. Now, I don't know if that's changed, like I said, but it used to be able to do. A mate of mine's done it, I've never done it, but if you don't fancy going with the rest of them on the other side of the bridge, this is a nice little spot. As long as I can. Keep putting a new card in, a new batteries, blah blah blah. And I'm just going to upload 2 lots of footage. One, the normal vlog on the river, and the other one just river footage. Some people like that, some people don't want to listen to anything rabbiting on. Yeah. So I've put some music to it, and leave some people like it without music, so I shall leave parts of it without music. So what have we got planned for this week? Well, it's a bit weird, isn't it? We was looking at going down south, we would have gone down south if the tides would allow, and we could get here on Saturday. But it was only having 5 days, 5 nights. We're just going to mooch about around the north. And obviously we've got a lot of places that we can go to. We don't know which order we're going to do it. It's a bit like on the red wedding, doesn't mark it. It's playing the right notes, but not necessarily in the right order. So we don't really, well, we do know we're going to Neatishead now then, so we don't know where we're going to stay then. It's only going to be about 12 o'clock. So we don't know where we're going to stay there. Or see if we can get into the beer garden for a couple. And then there's somewhere else, maybe something stay. They've got a beer garden. Now here we are, almost at Ludden Bridge, and this is a bridge where only one boat can go through at a time. So who has right of way? Well, if the boat that's coming in the opposite direction is a sailing boat, then it has the right of way anyway, and we'll probably discuss that later on, general rule on the river. But as a general rule of thumb, if you are going with the tide, then you have right of way above somebody coming against the tide. Now the reason for that is because it's a lot easier for you to control the boat going against the tide, because if you try to sort of tread water like I did here, letting this guy go through, and you're going with the tide, then you've got to start reversing and things like that. So that's the general rule. If you're going with the tide, you have the right of way. It doesn't always work that way because people sometimes don't know what the tide's doing, so best proceed with caution. And coming through the bridge when it's windy, especially from this direction, as you come through the other side, the wind can quite often just grab you and try to push you over to the quay heading where this dredger barge thing is. Now these guys have been down to St Benet's Abbey removing quay heading from there, and this bringing it up here to take it off the boat. And as you can see, there's not a lot of boats about. Now one other thing here, especially if you're in the winter months when it's a bit chilly and you're looking for electric hookup, there is an electric post and the last time we tried it, it wasn't your normal cards that you get from the BA information centres and various boatyards and so on. You had to get the card from the shop, and the shop doesn't open in winter, so that was a little bit uncomfortable one night when we thought we'd moor up here and use electric. Now that may have changed. It's worth checking out if it's in the winter months and you think, oh right, there's an electric post at London Bridge, then just check it out and make sure that that shop's open, because it just shut for a lot of time in winter. And well, as you see, there's hardly a boat about. Now it can be a bit tricky around here when you've got boats moored on both sides, so just go nice and easy. There's no need to rush. Chill out. Look at the scenery. I can't wait to be back. Cards, dear. How many? How many is that? Pardon? Quite a few enough. Okay. About running thread in one of the forums. It's not actual law if you've got somewhere you can live and stay in the country. It's just that they've not advertised that very much, have they? They said you shouldn't until the 12th. Well, they've almost always abided by guidance. Now we're just at the end, or the start, depending which way you look at it, of Owell moorings, and there's plenty of moorings here. You can get quite a lot of boats on, and it's a very popular place, especially in summer. You've got Toad Old Cottage, which is an old eel catcher's cottage, and you go in there and you just think, good grief, how did they used to live in something this size? It's actual, well, go and have a look. And then you've got the Owell Gardens, and well, there's a secret garden. I can't tell you about that, I'd have to kill you. But yeah, there's plenty to explore, have a picnic, take your dog for a walk. And we've done quite a nice walk from Ludham, Womack Water up to here, and then back down the Bure to Ludham Bridge. So there's plenty of places you can go walking, as you will have seen already. And yeah, this is another place where you've just a little bit of caution when there's a lot of boats moored up and there's boats coming in the opposite direction, because it is a little bit on the tight side. But as you can see here, there's only me, well, Christine. As I said, I can't wait to get back. Scottish ducks on a tandem, and the one on the back goes quack quack, and the one on the front says, "Can you go any quacker?" Any quacker. Look, we have to explain everybody joke to you, it's not going to work this. Alright, so that's how we can book electric eel boat trips from Owell. Well, when things get back to normal. It's about a 50-minute little trip. Now, I've not done this. It's one of the things on the to-do list, but I've not managed to do it yet. And they take you from Owell, there, that little boathouse is, and you go up to the left there, up into places what you can't get to on a normal cruiser. And I think there's a walk to a bird-eyed, and you get a guided tour. There's a roof on the boat, but the sides are open if it's a little bit blowy and a bit wet. And in the summer months they recommend that you take insect repellent, because there's probably a few mozzies flirting about around where they take you on that little boat. But don't let that put you off. Let me know how you get on. Adios. Along this stretch of the river just before we come up to Irstead, there's quite a lot of potential for wild mooring, and in the busy months the good spots get taken up fairly quickly on this stretch of the river. So anyway, we're almost at Irstead Staithe. Now that's another thing that we keep meaning to do. Shall we stop at Irstead Staithe? Shall we not? But we've always seemed to be on our way to somewhere else, going past it. Now Irstead Staithe, there is electric hookup and there's space for 2 or 3 boats, and there isn't much around except for the lovely village, which for me, I prefer to look at it going through on the boat. You can actually walk from here to Barton Broad, to the boardwalk at Barton Broad. You can carry on and go to Neatishead, and the White Horse at Neatishead is your nearest pub. It is a fair old walk to Neatishead from here, so you will definitely have earned you a pint, or coke, or coffee, or whatever. I don't judge.
The ferry end, with marquees at the ferry end. And before when I flew my drone I took a picture at the side, and when I get a chance I need to get the phone connected to the internet. It's not, it's a phone I just have for flying the drone. It's got connected to the data. I'll try unlocking it, that light takes up. So yeah, so I've got a nice picture from the river the side here, so I'm going to post that on the Facebook page. Once we get sorted up at Neatishead. See, this is the thing, we up Neatishead, we've got Neatishead and then come this way and then more here. If there's any room. We've got any more here. Problem being that there is no room. We're looking for that electricity. We'd end up turning back round again. Oh well. See how we go. I said it once or twice before in previous videos, but I could live here. Nice little village. Oh, I don't think there's a pub nearby, is there?
So once you've enjoyed your lovely little trip through Irstead going up the Ants, it's not long before you come to Barton Broad. Now I'm going to explain this part here because I haven't got much footage going over the Broad and some pretty loud music I think. If you bear left once you get onto the Broad and follow in between the markers, that takes you down towards Staithe and Neatishead. If you go straight you can either go round the Pleasure Island to your left towards the boating club, the yacht club, and straight up. Now when you're going over Barton Broad to the top, which we haven't done on this trip, but if you're going over from this direction up towards Stalham, you can take a left and it takes you up to Paddy's Lane and Barton Tuff where there's more inns, and if you stick to the right channel as you come off the Broad at the other end, that'll take you up to Stalham, Sutton, and further on up to Wayford, and then even further on to Dillham. If you get a chance and your boat will go under Wayford Bridge, the cruise up to Dillham is lovely. You've got to be careful with that bridge because it can be pretty low.
This is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best day ever. Wake up, top of the morning. The bacon is crispy, the coffee is pouring. My meditation is peeling an orange. The bank says I'm already scoring. I got a parking spot right outside. Step into my brand new ride. All we ever get is green lights and blue skies. This is gonna be the best day ever. You got me looking so fresh, I can't get no better. Baby, I'm a T-Rex, ready to rumble, ready to flex, I'm the king of the jungle. Gonna be the best. Shake up.
up. I got a red fruit smoothie, James Brown bumping like I'm living in a movie. Look at me, I do the cha-cha-cha. Look at me, I sing a na-na-na. Tippy-tap-tap like I'm Dick Van Dyke. Chim-chim, I need you to be by my side. Spoonful of sugar, gonna go with it. Oh baby, pass me the butter, gonna roll with it. This is gonna be the best day ever. You got me looking so fresh, I can't get no better. Baby, I'm a T-Rex, ready to rumble, ready to flex. I'm the king of the jungle. Gonna be the best, best, best. I'm flying 10 feet off the ground. You got me dancing in the clouds. It's like I'm never coming down. No, 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 no. This is gonna be the best day ever. You got me looking so fresh, I can't get no better. Baby, I'm a T-Rex, ready to rumble, ready to flex. I'm the king of the jungle. Gonna be the best, best, best. This is gonna be the best day ever. This is gonna be the best day ever. Best day ever.
Now you can mudweight on Barton Broad. In fact, you can mudweight on virtually every broad. I think Rockland Broad is probably the only one that springs to my mind where it's not, well, it's very shallow, so it's not recommended to mudweight there. But if you do, you don't want to be mooring, you don't want to be dropping your mudweight in this main channel sort of thing. You can see the red post on the left and the green post to the right. This is a channel that the boats will be travelling up and down in, so you don't want to be dropping the mudweight in there. But what you'll see is that people will go out just outside those channels. In a lot of places, if it's too shallow, there will be signs saying don't moor, it's shallow water, blah blah. But you'll get people that just go outside the channel, drop the mudweight. Now, one thing you've got to be careful of, it's not so much an issue here on Barton Broad, but it can be because the rise and fall is still enough to lift your mudweight off the bottom of the broad. More so in the Southern Broads, if you want any confirmation, speak to Russell, the Admiral, because if you moor up and drop the mudweight at low water and tie it off pretty tight, and then the tide comes in, that's going to lift your mudweight off the bottom of the broad and you'll drift. So if you can do a search for the Admiral's Adventures on Surlingham Broad, you'll see what I mean.
moorings at Staithe to our left, you can, well, to the left of the Staithe you can moor side on, and to the right of the Staithe you moor stern on. And it's probably about another 10 minutes walk down to Neatishead Staithe, and then another 5 minutes to the White Horse, if that floats your boat. Certainly does me. Not too sure that's going to turn out. Is it all? Now then, it's 3 miles an hour down Kiln Dyke, and if you've got boats coming the other way in some places, it can be very narrow, so proceed with caution as per usual. It is a lovely little cruise down here though. I really like it down here. I've seen loads of kingfishers in this stretch. There is a turning point at Neatishead Staithe, so if you're worried about being able to get back out again, you don't need to, because if you can't get in at the Staithe, just right after it you can just turn around there and come back up. It is well worth just going down for the cruise down this lovely little stretch of the Broads. You want to do the walk then? A bit of a walk? Huh? Can't remember it being an hour. Two kingfishers. Did you get a picture? Yeah, so doing it this way, it's like gaining an extra day really, isn't it? Than what we would do, so say on a Saturday. Saturday, by the time we've set off, we do a half an hour cruise to Ranworth, trying to find the mooring. And that game's finished with them virtually, isn't it? So here we have a good cruise to stay here, or we can carry on with somewhere else. So would you rather stay here or something stay? The question is, would you prefer Neatishead or something? Now I did say earlier on, well, I think I did, that I'm just using the footage from my old GoPro for these videos. I'm not going to be chopping and changing. Now the battery runs out right at the end of the Kiln Dyke as we get to the Staithe, but you can just about see where the Staithe is to your left when we get down there after the next bit of music comes on, and just after that you can see the turning point. Now if you want to see us coming out of the Staithe, then that's in the next ones. That's us leaving Irstead, and we travel all the way down to Acle Bridge. So I may come up with some other things on the way down for the River Ant, but then we've got the Bure on from the Ant to down to Acle Bridge. So stay tuned. If you haven't already, please subscribe, because it won't be long before we're back down again and you don't want to be missing out on any future videos. We're on Silver Cloud on the 31st of July, and oh, we're breaking news, you're the first to hear this, we've actually booked an apartment in Herbert Woods, a Swallowtail apartment, for the 24th of July, and we get a day boat for a day, which we'll be going out on that, and we've also got planned a trip with Matt and Murray under the bridge and up to Martham in that area, so make sure you're subscribed. Is that real?
by any pesky fishermen because they're not supposed to be fishing.